So I just tricked yesterday, so I'm all sore, but the goal of today is to turn this into a print wall. These are the nicest prints I've ever got. They're so expensive. I did these a really long time ago. So I'm gonna try to maybe fill up this wall. I think this setup is actually working pretty well. I'm looking forward to filling up this side of the wall with some newer prints. I just gotta get my printer figured out. Is it a bit conceited of me to have my own workup? Maybe. It's more so to just remind myself of the work that I have done and to keep pushing me to create more work, because this is the goal now. This is what I'm trying to do. I want to really get into the whole print selling and stickers and that kind of thing. So one thing I wanted to say is I went to the gym yesterday. I went to Monkey Vault and tricked for the first time in a really long time, and it felt great. I was really nervous going in because I just haven't been to the gym in a while, and I felt like I didn't really belong there, because I just feel like a different person where all of my priorities have kind of shifted a little bit. So it's interesting to try to get back into that. So I started listening to my Hype Up playlist and trying to get myself back into that headspace of like being an athlete and expressing myself in that way. So that was interesting to wrap my head around. My muscle memory seems like it's in a good place, and that's what I was worried about a lot. I was worried that I was gonna forget a lot of the stuff that I've been kind of like drilling. I've actually been conditioning a lot in the meantime, just to keep myself from like going a bit crazy, and I think that really worked out well because my tricks felt really easy. Well, the ones that I could do, because there are a bunch that I didn't even attempt, like gainers are scary. There are certain landings that I'm not really confident to try yet, so I might have to modify my combo style and structure and the things that I do for now. I felt like a really complete person again, and I've been really enjoying art, being an artist and all that, but it still felt like there was something kind of off. And I felt like the balance of tricking and doing art was really where my being needed to be. The process of actually taking my conditioning seriously and then translating it into tricking was refreshing. And so now that I know that, I feel like I can get more out of my tricking career because I'm actually taking it a bit more seriously now than I was before. So maybe the injury worked out. Maybe this is where I needed to be in the grand scheme of my life. Really taking the time to actually get my art projects going, and then also realizing that, hey, I can still trick well post-injury. So this is super cool, and I just wanted to maybe share that update. And this is going to be weird cutting it down, but I'm going to try to do some work on the tablet. The knee still isn't all the way good. It's definitely not fully recovered. There are still things where I'm just like sketched out by it. And on that scissor, I actually felt my knee hyperextend slightly. I guess all the ligaments and stuff aren't fully, I don't know, tight yet. There definitely feels like there's a bit of slack. And so when I like extended for the scissor, I felt the knee slip slightly, and so I'm in quite a bit of pain now and needed help up. But other than that, like, things are okay. I made a bit of a mistake and I'm way too altered, and now I gotta figure out cables. Good work. So this is just an old piece that I'm reviving as part of a newer series that I'm not quite ready to talk about yet, but I was using it as a way of comparing printing paper. I'm just gessoing this canvas so that Kat has a canvas to paint on. The intention of the weekend was to just do a lot of art and eat lots of pizza. So it's actually really interesting for me to watch this process because I've never actually watched Kat paint. I've seen her work, but I've never really seen how she gets there, and the fact that she can just straight up draw with a paintbrush is very impressive to me. We're actually working in tandem in what I guess I will call the kitchen studio. She's got the fine art station and I'm just on the kitchen island with the Huion tablet. And I've taken it upon myself to do some cable management, just so when I'm like bringing this upstairs to the office studio or to the kitchen studio or wherever it is I'm gonna bring it, that at least it's easily transportable and I'm not gonna have to like plug and unplug like a billion different cables. All I really have to do is attach the USB-C hub to my laptop and then attach this one cable to the Tourbox Neo. Highly recommend this. It's amazing. It's my favorite thing. So the setup is essentially laptop on a stand, Tourbox, display tablet, and mouse. I definitely like the ability to bring this down into the kitchen so that we can almost hang out while doing art together. We're doing our own things, but also just sharing a room together, so it's less lonely, easier to work for longer periods of time, for me at least, I think. Watching Kat paint is really interesting to me because we have such different approaches. I think we're both quite fast at painting, but we go about establishing colors and shadows and highlights differently. We also both have a lot of fun discussing the process and our thoughts on our own work. It's really interesting to be able to relate on that. Where is that paint gonna go?
Where is it gonna go? Oh god, it's going there. I don't know.
Is that just like a nubby brush?
Yeah.
I had no idea this kind of brush existed. This nubby kind of stab brush.
It is definitely a stab brush. This is what it does. It stabs.
I've tricked you into using neon colors.
Oh my god, I hate you.
So I was having some traditional art envy, and there's nothing wrong with digital art. It certainly has its benefits, but there's something just satisfying to me on a personal level using more traditional mediums. In this case, oil pastels. I haven't really used them since I was like 12, probably in grade 8 or something. We did a unit on oil pastel, but since then, never really touched them, never really saw the appeal until now, where I'm like, oh, these are actually kind of fun. They're like adult crayons. And I personally love the randomness that traditional media affords. I feel like digital art, you essentially have so much control over what you're doing. You can really go into the details. For something like this, it's like you're kind of guessing at some points, and you end up with marks that you weren't expecting to look cool, results that you weren't really like expecting to make. And I find that there's kind of a luminous quality about these particular pastels. So I'd really love to experiment with something bigger where I can get into more of the details. This was just a smaller notebook that I didn't really give a crap about, so that's why I'm kind of experimenting in here. But I am happy I finally got to use these in a practical way, and here are some of the other sketches I did. I'm really enjoying using a sketchbook, not to create final products, but to just mess around with ideas or to doodle as something to fidget with. So yeah, I guess that's it. That was like a full weekend of art, and then before that there was some tricking involved. So yeah, I feel great. I feel like a complete person, and then now I have to go and edit all this stuff, which is probably my least favorite part about the process. I wish I could just like make art and have someone else like take care of that, but alas, I am not some famous person, so this will have to suffice for now.